Welcome back everyone, I'm Pep and you're watching The Sentinel. Today I will do a very short video on my next episode of the A to Z series, which is the letter N. And one of your frustrations is citrus dominated fragrances that don't last. I might have the answer for you in this video. Okay everybody, letter N, without further ado, is for Neo from the house of Xerjoff, and this is part of what they call their Shooting Stars collection or lineup. Neo is classified as a woody spicy, but this is to me, citrus and neroli, particularly bergamot and neroli dominated fragrance. I'll get straight into it. This is one of the longest lasting citrus dominant fragrances I've tried, and I love that because my main frustration when it gets warm and I feel like something citrusy is that it doesn't last. Generally they don't last. Things even neroli dominated fragrances like Mugler cologne is wonderful neroli based fragrance, but I'm lucky to get 4 hours from something like that. Maybe although it's more vetiver, my Tom Ford Grey vetiver with the grapefruit in it, that's a long-lasting fragrance on me, but that becomes more of a woodier fragrance rather than staying citrus. And I'm not comparing Neo to Grey vetiver. What it is, I've just sprayed some on, and the one word off the top of my head to describe this fragrance is bright. Like, it's one of the brightest fragrances you can spray on yourself. Everything immediately seems to lighten up. It wakes your senses up, and the way that bergamot and neroli are blended in the opening, because really to my nose it's mainly what I get in the opening, is one of the most natural smelling openings I've encountered, especially for a warm weather light citrus, again especially something in this genre. I'll just quickly go through the notes for this one. It's nothing amazingly different to what you may have encountered before in scents like this, but top opens with neroli, bergamot and unspecified green notes. Mid is more of a spicy mid than your normally traditional floral mints, and there's nutmeg, cardamom, pink pepper, and there is jasmine here, and the base is vetiver, patchouli, gaiac wood, cedar and amber. So what you get in the opening again is that amazingly realistic bergamot. It's so juicy and dominant, but it's blended. It's just blended beautifully well with the neroli. A little bit into it, I sprayed this a little bit earlier. A little bit into it, I do get the jasmine coming in and blending in with that initial, really bright blast. What I don't get a lot of is the spicy aspects of this, the cardamom and the pink pepper. But what I think they act to do in this particular fragrance is really push everything else forward, like bringing everything else into the foreground, and the spices almost act more like a support to those opening fragrances, and I guess given that the note pyramid for this has them in the middle, it's really performing its function. What it then does is dry down, and I've got to say that initial citrusy opening really stays with this development all the way into the dry down for me on my skin. Yes, it is woody. You can pick up some of the vetiver in it. I mean, I can't distinguish the Gaiac wood from the cedar, although like I can pick up hints of the cedar in there, and it definitely gets a little bit ambery at the end. Now, this, in terms of uniqueness of this fragrance, it's not unique in that, you know, we've seen woody, spicy, citrusy fragrances before. Where this blows most of the other fragrances in this genre away is that this smells so natural. It has a wonderful development, and for this type of fragrance, it projects really well for the first hour or two, and then it does become a lovely, classy skin scent, and it's probably also not the kind of fragrance you want to project a lot as well. This is best suited for obviously the warm weather. But where this is amazing to me is that this lasts on my skin up to 8 hours, and I have not come across anything that's citrus dominated, that's got a similar kind of structure that will last this long. But overall, it's just a beautifully blended, very natural smelling, bright, luminous fragrance, and the words refreshing, enlightening come to mind when wearing it. And I mean, this I can only imagine is, I haven't had an opportunity to wear this in high heat, but this would be amazing, and certainly good enough to wear for formal occasions, dressed up, and even dressed down. But this just reeks of class. Neo by Xerjoff is not cheap. It's in fact very expensive. So I guess if you're going to invest in a bottle, you are paying for amazing smelling, natural smelling fragrance that lasts. So I think 3 or 4 sprays will be perfect at this. But I've mentioned this before, I struggle to justify paying big bucks for a fragrance like this, even as good as Xerjoff Neo is. And it's purely because I have a lot of fragrances now, and you know, if I want to rotate through them, a full bottle of something that costs this much is just a big investment for me. And probably down the track, yes, when I've refined my collection, or when I start to reduce my collection, and I've lived with this fragrance a bit more, I'll probably realize that I need to have a bottle. But for now, I'm happy to get decants. I certainly would encourage everyone to try and get a small sample of this to see how it works for them. But this fragrance is just a warm weather monster, and certainly would recommend trying for those of you who are into citrusy, woody fragrances. Like I said, I don't expect, my nose doesn't pick up a lot of the spiciness, but the spice is playing a role here, if that makes any sense. So that was a quick video about Xerjoff's Neo. Please try and check it out. I'll list a link to somewhere you can check out the price or where you can purchase it, because off the top of my head I can't remember. They do come in 50 and 100 ml bottles. So yeah, check it out, and thank you for watching this time. See you later.